I think I disconnected emotionally in order to not get depressed every day and not feel like I was watching my husband losing his life. It just became a daily ritual. It is really hard to take care of someone when they're ill and give it everything and get nothing in return, because of course you don't expect anything in return, but you're not getting anything in return. And you build up a little bit of resentment. I did. And I think it's really common that you become a little resentful, and no one wants to admit that. And I think just being honest about it doesn't mean I loved him less, doesn't mean I wouldn't have done it again or differently or anything. It's just the way it was. And that was such a leap to go from thinking that your husband is not interested in you to your husband's life, the days are numbered. The tumor was in the front left lobe of his brain, which is, from what I've learned, is your emotions, your personality, your decision making, your rationale, your motivation, everything that is your personality is in the front part of your brain. From the time he got diagnosed to the time he passed away was 5.5 months. After the surgery, the first month was actually pretty good. There were a couple of months he was pretty lucid. We were driving home from the doctor one day, and he asked me why I looked so sad, and he knew at that point what was happening, and I just said, I'm just really sad that you're not going to be here. And he said, well, I'm okay. He said, I get to be out there. He said, you're the one that, I feel bad for you. You're the one that's going to be stuck here, and you're going to be all alone. He said, that makes me sad. It was a lot to process the idea that all that was in my head, that my husband's dying, that he doesn't remember every day that he's dying. He doesn't realize that I'm taking care of him. And I don't know about most people, but I think anyone that has been a caregiver to someone that's being treated for an illness where they're on steroids and they're on different mood kind of altering medications, it's not about you, it's just about them, not to their fault. They're not doing it on purpose, but it was a really difficult time. John never said he wanted to die. He wasn't connected enough with his emotions to be able to say he wanted to die. I know at the end when he was in hospice, he did not want to be there. He did not want people having to take care of him like that. One of the reasons that I really felt strongly about writing a story, telling my story, was after he passed away, I had a couple of people contact me that their friend was going through something very similar. One in particular where her husband was terminally ill. He wasn't himself anymore. It wasn't brain cancer, but it was cancer. And I remember her telling me that she just could barely get through. You don't know when the end is. The end could be 3 days. The end could be 3 years, really. There was no designated number of days that this was going to go on, and I became very desperate feeling. And people would often, say, we're praying for a miracle. We're hoping something happens, And I thought the miracle would be if he could just go peacefully and not have to endure this daily existence it was not a good quality of life at the end. My last words to him, hopefully he heard them, was just thanking him for being part of my life and for being part of my kid's life, because he turned us into a family.